Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Daniel G. Garza, and this is Put Together Conversations. Welcome to the show. I want to welcome all our friends on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on Facebook, please share this on your pages. All of our friends on LinkedIn, you too can share this page, and people on Twitter, you can retweet this. If you're watching us on YouTube, do us a favor, scroll on down, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and make sure that you are reminded of all the other shows we have coming out on Little Mexican Productions Inc. Putting together conversations. I lost myself there for a second. Putting together conversations. It's a show about you, folks, where you come from, where you are now, and what your journey has been like. And the idea is to motivate and inspire other people to go after their dreams and goals. So, what is your dream and goal? And I hope today's conversation inspires you. My guest today is where is she? Miss Pyper. Remember, she's just a girl lost in a big role. She started her own photography business at the ripe age of 27. In 2019, she lost her mother, who passed away from cancer. 8 months later, her husband was in the hospital at the beginning of COVID. Doctors told her that he wouldn't survive. And the day after her 30th birthday, he walked out the door. All while smiling, she continued her business and filed for divorce. Uh, she decided to find the best part of herself, and she's still growing and learning. Life only gives you as much as you can handle. And while she hated that statement, and still sometimes does, she's thankful that she's thankful that she gets to wake up every morning and do what she loves. Bad days are okay too, but you have to push through it and remember that you are a bad bitch. She used to compare herself to other people so much, and she would hate herself for doing it, but she lives life, but life, well, we live life through social media so much that sometimes she forgets who she is. She has feelings. I'm going to quote her. We have feelings. We have lives outside of our phones, and we have to remember to find ourselves and what makes us happy. So fake it to make it, and don't forget to be true to yourself. Sorry, I was reading that in a first person for a second person thing. Let me introduce you to one of she's become one of my best friends. She's just so cool to talk to and chat with. Miss Pyper, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you, sweetie?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited to be here.
Mr. Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Matt. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Um, I've been trying to have you on the show for a while. We finally were able to get you. So I'm so excited.
I'm so happy. I'm so glad to be here. I love watching your shows and just like listening and hearing everyone else's stories and stuff like that. It just it normalizes everything that's going on, and I live for it.
Thank you. Thank you. For those of you that we follow, well, I was going to play the video. I'll play it in just a second. For those of us that have been following me for a while and remember Red Rich's show, that's how we met. We were introduced by Red Rich on his show when he had it. And I just loved your energy. The first time I ever knew of you, you had that bright pink hair. And I was so excited to come on the show because I was going to comment. I was going to be a gay, sassy man and make a comment on your pink hair. And I was like, I am ready for you, girl. And then I came on and you had dyed it. I was like, well, that killed the moment. Like, what the hell?
Like, you ruined it.
Yeah, how dare you kill my moment, woman? But before we continue, I wanted to play the video that I found of you that I thought was really cool.
If you have to convince yourself to convince other people that you're a good person, you're working too hard.
I love that. I've always said that you are like a vision of female empowerment, and you just have this energy. And of course, I totally fell in love with you in one of your TikTok videos where you're coming out of your Jeep. And I was like, another time, another place. I'll be like, what's up,
that
mommy?
Jeep is so hot. That Jeep is so hot. I'm hot for my own Jeep.
that made me question. I was like, do I really love Christian that much? Like, what's really going on here? Like,
I love Christian, so you have to love Christian.
Like, I was like, what's up, mommy? Like, you got that Jeep? Let's go for a ride. What's up? But I feel like I don't want to take away from your story because you have an amazing story. The bio doesn't do justice to what your story is about. So, Ms. Pyper, tell us how you put it together.
Okay, so let's kind of backtrack a couple of years. So my mother was diagnosed twice with breast cancer. Once in my sophomore year, 3 days after Christmas, my sophomore year of college. And the whole holiday season, I spent going to hospitals, going to treatment centers, figuring out all this other stuff, learning things that I never thought I would ever learn a day in my life. And then she overcame it and she was in remission. And then 2 years back, 3 days after my birthday, we found out that she got cancer again. And so it was that same process, just a little bit older, but it was more aggressive this time. And so I would fly up to New York and I would go help her out, and she would go to those treatments, and I'd fly back down for work, and I'd figure my schedule out between hers and work and having a husband and getting married and doing all this stuff. And unfortunately, she passed away in 2019. But she wasn't the same person. So I'm not upset that she passed away. I'm thankful that she's happy, in the sense of she's not in pain and everything else. And then 8 months later, in March, my birthday, I find out that my now ex-husband had a infection in his leg. He ended up having strep A. He had strep A, and it turned into necrotizing fasciitis. And no one knew what was going on. The night hospital that we went to, because we had gone, he was a chef. He had gone after his shift. So it was like 2:00 in the morning. I get this phone call. They're like, listen, you got to go to the hospital. I don't know what's going on. We don't get it. The hospital guy was like, well, you have strep, but that's just what's showing up on the panel. And we were like, okay, but what about his leg? Because it was located in his leg. And they were like, yeah, I don't know. So I looked up all these like Florida bugs. It's like a Florida beetle that has the same markings as what he had on his leg. So I was like, well, let's put you in a hot bath. Let's do all this stuff, whatever. Didn't work, obviously. And then 2 days later, it was March 1st. We went into the hospital. He was like, I have to go. And I just can't do it. They immediately do an emergency entry, right? So they bring 15, 20 doctors into the room, in the emergency room, stick him with IVs, stick him with all the blood work, get his blood pressure, do all this stuff. And I'm standing in the corner, with my bag, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And they're like, he has an infection and it's eating away at his muscles. Excuse me. It's eating away at his muscles. So they have to put him in emergency surgery. By the first surgery that we had, it was 1:00 in the morning when he finally got out of it. And it was and he woke up and he was like, they didn't get it all. So we had stayed the whole month of March in the hospital. I was sitting in the hospital bed with him, and finally it all got cleared. He took all his medicine and everything else in between. And I ended up, dealing with it. And then all of a sudden he just wasn't coming back to the person that he was. He was a chef. He loved to stand. He loved to cook. I mean, that's 18 hours on your feet. He couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't even walk.
Wow.
So this process of learning and watching someone that you love have to rebuild into being a human again. Some people can do it and some people really can't. And so I had to watch him and try and be, his savior, and it just wasn't working. And so the following year, we had the anniversary. I made an Instagram post about it, one of those. And then we had a great birthday, amazing birthday. I went skydiving for the first time. It was a blast. I turned 30. I was like, oh, okay, finally I get to have a year about me, right? Because my first year was without my mother, was with him in the hospital. I spent my whole birthday in the hospital next to his bed. And then I was like, cool, it's gonna be a little bit about me, And then the next day he walked out the door.
Wow.
Literally just walked out the door. And I was like, okay, we're going to be okay. Whatever.
Okay, so I want to go back a little bit in your story first, like because the caregiver part. I mean, so I through Christian, I've seen it through my sister with my mom, taking care of parents. Like that's definitely not something that you have in your mentality. Like, okay, they're going to get older, they're going to pass, obviously. But do you think that being a caregiver for your parent, for one of your parents, did that give you like extra strength? Did that give you extra resilience? Were you like that before then, or were you always that type of person?
So I was always that type of person. So I'm I'm adopted, and my sister is my blood sister to my parents. So I was always different. Um, but I had always had that extra little bit of strength that no one really could put their finger on. Come to find out, I'm really good in trauma. Traumatic situations are like, call me, I got you. Um, but no, I just, when my mom first had cancer in college, my mom automatically called me. She did not call and she's my older sister. So we're 5 years apart. She did not call her. She said, I'll deal with it, but I need you to do this and I need you to do that. And can you do this? And can you do that? And I was like, no problem. Sure. Whatever. I got it. It was always Piper's got it. That was the following sentence. It's Piper's got it. And I was like, I got it. I got it. Whatever it is, I got it.
Interesting. Because yeah, there's some people that just automatically people just go to for. I mean, I'll be humble enough to say that there's some people that just like, oh, I'm going through a crisis. What do I do? And I'm like, I don't even need cards. Let me just talk to you. Like let's do this. That's it. So, like, second part to that question, like, do you give yourself permission to break down?
100%. 100%. And I actually, so when I was going through the divorce, I actually got called out by my ex-husband saying, you don't ever break down. You're never upset. And I go, no. I do get upset. I do have feelings. I cry in the shower. I cry on a drive along the coast. I cry. I have my moments. I am human. I have my moments, but I just don't allow it to affect me, in the way that it's going to ruin my whole day. Absolutely have a break. I've had days where I didn't get out of bed. I absolutely had a day where I was like, you know what? Today is not the day. I do not have to do this. I don't owe anyone answers. I just don't want to. But tomorrow I'm going to wake up and tomorrow is going to be a different day. But today, no. Just no.
We're very similar. Christian just posted that that's usually when people come to me, I'm like, look, I say this with love. It's kind of hard, but I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You express your emotions when it's appropriate. Yeah. That's definitely me too. Like, and I think I'm like you. I think we're similar in that. Like, I'll go hibernate in my apartment, and I'll shower the night before, so that I have a whole day that I don't shower. I don't clean up. I lay in my pajamas or in my boxers all day. I order food in.
Yeah.
Put in the sappiest, saddest movies that are available at the moment.
Yes.
And just,
yes.
If I had mascara, I would wear it just so I could run it. And then the next day, I'm like, let's go. I'm ready. Let's do this.
It's a revisit. Honestly, it's such a good cleanse to just cry and cry it hard. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll be watching a movie. It won't even be sad or sappy, but there's just a scene or a line or a memory that reminds me of my mother, and I'm just like, like I just lose it. And I'm like, you know what? It is okay to lose it. I'm gonna wipe my tears. I'm gonna take all that energy out. And then I'm going to go back to the movie and I'm going to be okay. It's a refresher. It's nice to have that.
Yeah. Christian says that because when I was going through cancer, he would leave me in Laguna once I was able to be by myself. And he would come home and take care of himself. And from what he talks about, he had those moments where he just had to break down and cry and just let it all out. So for those of you watching or listening, well, first of all, thank you for joining us. This is Putting Together Conversations. My guest today is Miss Pyper, and we're talking about caregiving, breaking down and giving yourself permission to let go. And hello, thank you for joining us, Bella. Thank you for being here. We do look. I do feel beautiful today. Plus, I mean, with this beautiful one right there. There we go. Right there.
You're very glowy today.
Am I? You know, it's just what it is. Thank you, lighting, and yeah, because it's not all natural glow today. But so you split up. You go through the divorce. You're on your own. What's the first thing you say to yourself when you have that divorce paper in hand?
Oh God. So I was the one to file, actually. We had gone through the words divorce so many times. And okay, so in the non-TikTok sense, I was married to a narcissist. So I had to then battle within myself. Is he going to come back? Is he going to fix himself? Is he going to do this? And then I eventually turned to myself and I said, if he comes back through those doors, I may not leave. I may not better myself. I may not do any of this. I may not be the person that my mom raised me to be. So when I went through the filings and I was talking to the lawyer and doing all that stuff, I just said, do I want to fight for who I am as a person, or do I want to submit and have someone control me and be under and be less than the person that I was raised to be? And I just said no. And I said, no matter what he goes after, no matter what he tries to fight me on, no matter what he says, no matter what he does, I have to be okay with it. Because he wasn't going to go easy. He wasn't, that's not how he wanted to go. He said it in words, but he made his actions say other things. And so I said, is this a battle that I want to fight for my freedom? And I was like, absolutely. I go, I'm not doing this ever again. I'm not going to be this person, because I had lost who I was. I started getting panic attacks driving my car, because he would always drive my car. Like the littlest things that I didn't realize that he took from me, he took. And so it was that thing that I had to regrow. And I was so worried about taking care of him and taking care of his feelings and, my sister's feelings and my grandma's feelings and everyone else's feelings. And I eventually turned to myself and I was like, what about my feelings? What about me? I'm so worried about everyone else and no one's worried about me except for me. So now it's me.
Yeah, well, I feel like in your story, it's one of those moments where Pyper's Got It could be such an empowering statement, because you're like, yeah, everybody, but then all of a sudden it just teeters the other way, where it's like, Pyper's got it, and nobody's like, everybody's pointing at each other, like, well, I thought you were going to talk to her. Well, I thought you took care of her. No, I thought you took care of her. Does that make sense?
100%. I mean, if we can relate it to Brittany at this point, it's like all the lawyers are like, I didn't do this. I didn't know she was having problems. I didn't understand. I didn't get this. It's you. And I'm sitting over here, but I'm still holding the problems. I'm still holding the problems. Yeah. So y'all take it. Y'all are good. I held on for it for so long. Y'all can have it. See you later.
And
girl, bye.
I don't know if, okay, snaps on that. But I don't know if people realize that, like, I don't know if this makes sense to you, like the courageous part is not the walking out the door. The courageous part is recognizing that you have gotten comfortable in that uncomfortableness. And I talk about that on my TikTok morning show all the time. It's like, are you comfortable in the uncomfortableness? And I think that is really like the brave part, to look at yourself and go, you are stuck and you didn't even realize it. Does that make sense?
Exactly. No, 100%. And it's one of those things where it's like, you just have to figure out if you're okay with it, but you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be okay with being in a world where you're like, but do you care about me? Because I'm putting 100%. Why are you only putting in 20?
Yeah, as Christian said, like learn the lesson that you are truly the only one who can take amazing care of yourself. Like, yeah, we want our partners to be there for us, and we want our partners to take care of us. But I gotta take care of myself first. And if I'm
Mhm.
happy, then I hope my partner will be happy that I'm happy. And if my partner's happy, I'm happy that he's happy. But
Yeah.
I'm not here to like put the blanket on you every day. Like that's your job. But
No, exactly. And you have to be aware of your own happiness, right? Because we can be happy in the grand scheme of things of like, oh, everything's fine, everything's great, blah, 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 the BS happy. But are you really internally happy? Are you internally happy and are you acknowledging it? Or are you really just trying to fake it till you make it, but you're still not making it? There's a difference. You can fake it till you make it, but actually put the effort in to make it work.
yeah,
Or just fake it till you make it and then just not do anything about it.
yeah. So there's a couple of things that Christian and I, when we first met, that we were. I think this is really like we're like, wow, we're on the same level. It was like, you're not here to make me happy. You're not here to complete me, and I'm already my own man. So I just want you to be part of. Like, I'd like you to be part of my world, and I want to be part of yours. But we're not here to like you're not here to complete me, buddy. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like I was in my 40s, and I was like, yeah, here we got some comments here. It took me 40 years plus to learn that other people really don't care about me and my stuff in a positive way. I stopped caring what people thought of me as such. Yes, yes, and the people that matter don't have to validate you constantly. Like,
Yes.
does that make sense?
100%.
Bella says preach, and if they don't realize that they are the controlling one and don't want to compromise, shit won't change. Exactly, because like I said, I can say all the time like I'm faking it till I make it, but if I don't move the dog forward, I'm sitting in that fake. Ooh, let's put that on a bumper sticker. 20 years, and we work all the time. Yeah, it is work. It is takes a little work. It takes a little work, and we always have to have healthy boundaries and always support those boundaries. Yeah, because it doesn't
Yes.
matter if you've set boundaries. If they're there to step all over it, you're like, I'm sorry, this is protected, and they're just like, what the hell? Um, so talking back about that moment when you realize, like, wait a minute, like Piper doesn't have it all. Like she's not. Uh, what was the strong? Like, what was the moment? And I don't mean to bring up anything negative. Just for the people watching or listening, like, there has to be a moment where we're like, you know what? No.
So it was actually during the car ride on the way back from my birthday. Because I had seen the signs. I had seen the signs where he, did the love bombing and then he would get really, really mad. And I turned to him in the car and I said, are you going to be really, really mad that you spent so much money today on my birthday? He goes, no, it was your birthday. I go, okay. And I waited. I waited because I knew it was going to happen. And sure enough, that following night, he got mad over me not saying thank you. Literally me not saying thank you fast enough. Me not saying thank you fast enough for the dinner that he had gotten. He had ordered takeout and I didn't say thank you. So he slammed it down and he was like, how about a effing thank you? Walked out the door. And I said, there it is. There it is. And I knew it and I saw it and it was there. And I was like, you know what? He had gotten to the point where he would look at me and punch the door. Like I had dents in my door. So he had punched the door 3 times, face level to me. Now he's 6 foot-ish. And so it was one of those things where it was like, you know what? There's going to be a time where he looks at me and it's going to be my face. And that's when I was like, that's enough. That is a metal door. I am not metal. I am a human being. He is twice the size of me. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want an OJ Simpson situation. I don't want any of that. Not here for it. So I said, you know what? Please don't come back. I changed the locks. I drilled in extra security. I did everything that I had to do to make sure that I was as safe as I could possibly be, because I knew that he would show up. Granted, I didn't know what he would do, but I was like, you know what? My safety in my life matters more than his feelings at this point, whatever his valid feelings he thinks that he has.
So let's we're hitting the halfway on the show. I want to start turning around, because one of the things I tell people about you is, like, to me, you are the vision of female empowerment. And I think that this is a good segue. Like, you're like, because so many people don't believe that they will be part of a statistic, and it's one wrong word away from you are the door that he's punching. And so you change the logs. What do you say to yourself to like
to just center myself?
Yeah, I guess proliferate, or like to grab your balls and go for it. Well, whatever feminine version of the balls is, but
I just tell myself, I'm like, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. There's this, I always say it, and people, friends and family have always asked her, like, God, you've been through so much. What is, like, how do you do it? And I was like, it could always be worse. It could always be worse. I could not have a house. I could not have a roof over my head. I could not have a Jeep that I absolutely love. I could not have animals in my house that I can afford. I do a job that's expensive and I love it and I'm able to provide for myself and I am a functioning human being. It could always be worse, but it's not. And I'm thankful. And yes, there are hard times and there are back to back to back to back. And sometimes you just want to be like, can I have a breath of air? Like, what are you doing? Are you even paying attention? And it's just like, but that's okay. Because all those rough times, something will come out of it. So just be patient. Just be patient. It'll be okay. Just wait it out and stop waiting for that sun to shine on you and just do what you have to do to get through.
Yeah. I want to take a little pause to say hello to a couple of people that have jumped into the conversation. Nacho man, I'm waiting for you to be a guest on my show, so when are you coming? And Mr. Red Rich, we miss you, sir.
Hello, sir.
We think about you, and say hello to your family. Let's chat soon. It's that awareness, and it's their awareness. There is, so for those of you that watch the show, there is a words of wisdom at the end of the show, but we're going to get to that one. I just want you right now, because I hope that there's some young ladies or people that have been in a relationship for a long time that maybe are at that point where it's like, and it's harsh to say it, but it's either you or me. Like, it's you or me. It's Jack and the Titanic and what was her name? Rose.
Rose.
It's Jack and Rose in the Titanic, and there's only room for one person on that planet. Like,
there were two. There was room for two. I'm just saying. That selfish bitch. I would have done the same damn thing though. Like, girl, do you, boo boo?
I wish you could meet us, sir. Because if I remember correctly, on the Red Rick show, there was a big debate on whether that was. Wasn't there? Okay, we're not going to rehash that conversation, but just for notice, I can't stand the movie Titanic, just for records.
That's fair.
But for some, and you know what? The fact is that being gay man, there are men in the situation too that. Some guys, and I've been there when I was younger, you get caught up in this relationship where you're like, I'm so afraid of being alone. Nobody was ever going to love me. Maybe this person that keeps psychologically messing with my head, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm never going to be better. So having don't want to use escape, but having realized the situation, what would you tell somebody who's in that position right now and needs that extra
push? I would honestly say that I would not have found my independence had I not had someone standing next to me, a girl best friend, a guy best friend, the person that you've been through college with, or, the person that you met on TikTok a year ago. You have to have a person that can be your logical wall that you can talk to. And you have to be ready. You have to be ready for the good. You have to be ready for the bad. You have to be ready for everything in between. I prepared myself for every situation that could have happened while I was leaving him. And you have to have that person to sit there and say, let's pump the brakes, because you can't do it by yourself. You really cannot leave someone by yourself. You can physically leave someone, but that emotional baggage where you've had someone basically train you and say that no one's going to love you, no one's going to be there for you, you're going to be alone for the rest of your life. You have to turn that volume down and speak to your best friend and just say, am I going to be okay? Am I going to do this? And that person, your person, needs to be able to understand and recognize that you're going to have to say it 20, 30, 40, 50 times, because there is a difference of having a conversation like you and I, like, oh, well, this kind of sucks. Am I going to be okay? Yeah, we're going to be fine. Okay, next. No, this person needs to hear it. It needs to be validated. It needs to be understood. And that team member, that friend needs to be there. So it's just being able to know that you have a support system underneath you, and you do. You always have a support system as long as you reach out. As long as you have a person that you can reach out to. And even if you think you don't, you do. You do. You are never alone in this world. Never alone in this world.
We were talking about this in the pre-meeting. Ladies, have a gay friend. Yes. Always have a gay friend. But have a gay friend that is like, girl, I say this with love, but your man sucks. And not in a good way. So just let you know that. For everybody watching, this is Put It Together Conversations. I'm your host, Daniel T. Garza. My guest today is the wonderful Miss Pyper. We're talking about taking ownership, asking for help, and change that dialogue in your head to get you out of the situations. But let's change the dialogue a little bit. I know we said this earlier. Gay male friends. Yes, have a gay male friend always. And hey, for the dudes out there, for all you dudes out there, have a gay friend, because we're very honest. We will say honest. When you say my girlfriend's going to change, no, she's not. No, she's not. No. I mean, yeah. But you're also a photographer. Tell us a little bit about your photography business. What's your inspiration?
Okay, so I started my photography business in 2018, beginning of 2018, end of 2017. I was actually working for a marketing company, and I was working the worst hours. I was getting no sleep. I was getting yelled at 24/7, and I just, it was Christmas vacation, and I was with my family, and I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I don't want to do this anymore. And they were like, then don't do it. And so I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm not going to do it. So I quit my job New Year's Eve. And January 1st, I filed for an LLC. And I just did it. I was, having my ex-husband be a chef was convenient. So I originally started with his restaurant. And then I went on to other people's restaurants, and some of the previous clients from my ex-boss decided to hire me. And so it grew into business, and I love it. And quarantine taught me to do studio work, which I hate. But I learned, and I love food. I hate doing portrait photography, but I'll do it.
Yeah. But you know, sometimes it's okay. So obviously, the quarantine, being locked down, helped a whole lot of us learn stuff. Because I learned a lot about lighting and cameras and sound and how to make things work better. And you know, you got to up your game. But again, that's preparation. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't like it; just know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Know how to do it, and then eventually things start building up for yourself. Does that make sense?
Exactly. And I did, you know, I did a lot of revamping over quarantine. You know, I really took the time to realize, you know, is this the feed that I want? Or do I want this feed? Or do I want this aesthetic? Or, you know, all this stuff that, I mean, quarantine really was a restart button for a lot of people. And I was able to find what I really wanted to do and what I was able to do. So, you know, I just did it. I just did it. I learned, I hated it. I watched videos, I watched TikToks, I watched, you know, I looked at Pinterest and I just figured it out. But if you don't try, then what are you doing?
I'm so glad you said that because a lot of several of my friends, I'm sure we all have that balance. Like there are some of my friends who took the lockdown as I'm gonna bitch about everything time, everything from the masks to the vaccines to government, like to there's too much air. Like, and I was like, are you done yet? Like, are you done bitching? And then there were that other side of the friends that were like, I'm already home. I'm gonna try something new. Like I can't go to work. I'm getting a little bit of money from the government. I'm gonna learn something. And folks, you'd be surprised how much you can learn in a 3-minute TikTok video. You would be surprised.
Right.
Because I made pork chops yesterday, and I learned some of those secrets on TikTok. I'm just gonna say that. And so it seems like you were one of the people that were like, I'm already home. What else can I learn? So what did you learn about the world, and what did you learn about yourself during the lockdown?
I learned that I actually hate more people than I realized. God, I hate people.
We keep it honest here, folks. We keep it honest. You know, she didn't even say this with love. She was like, I just hate some of y'all.
Y'all are so dumb sometimes, I swear. No, you know, I learned that not, you know, your voice, you know, doesn't always need to be heard. Not everyone is going to agree, and that's okay. And I also learned that I love to cook. So turns out I'm a chef. So
some of y'all are meant to be seen, not heard.
That's what I'm saying. You have such a pretty face, but the mouth, close your mouth. We don't need to hear those.
If you knew how adorable you are in silence, man, you would be quiet more often.
You would have a 6-carat ring on your finger in no time. Yes.
Now I know why you're single. And yes, folks, I am a spiritual coach. Just to put that out there. That's a pretty cool balance, though. It's just, but you know what? It's also, I think it's that realization too that you're not for everybody, and not everybody is for you. Like we're not. I'm going to be honest, right? We were like, we all should love each other. No, I don't love everybody. I like a lot of people. I care for a lot of people. I respect almost everybody, but I don't love everybody. But I respect you. Like I respect you enough to understand you and pay attention and maybe agree with you. But it seems to me like that was one of your realizations. Like, yeah, not everybody.
Yeah, no, I tolerate a lot of people. You're much nicer than I am. I tolerate a lot of people. My Facebook account really should only have 3 friends, and 2 of them being my dogs. So, yeah. I also learned that people are really, really fake. Like, I didn't realize how fake people were, which I think in turn made me more mad, right? Because I was trying to find my real self, my true self and everything. And people are literally in lockdown and they're like, I'm going to Aruba. Bish, when? We're like, what? I'm sorry. You're going where? Oh, I'm in Thailand. No, you aren't. No, you aren't. It's not a thing. Let's fix the Instagram post. Let's think about it. Let's not do it.
Oh my God, yes. There's not love for everybody. What is it? Pyper tolerates the hell out of me.
God, you are seriously one of them that I tolerate. You are the big brother I never asked for. Hands down. Hands down. I literally put up with so much from this guy.
But then you learn that you're a good chef. What is your? What's your favorite dish to cook?
So I always go through the books and kind of see what I want to make or what I have in the fridge. But I actually learned how to. I made a. It was a poke taco. It was a salmon poke taco, and the shell of the taco was salmon skin, and it had like a truffle aioli in it that I made, and it had akora on top of it. It took forever. It took forever, but I enjoy making those kinds of dishes because I hang out with people that are Michelin star chefs. You know, I hung out with that upper echelon chef world. So those are the types of dishes that they make. So I'm like, well, maybe I can make something, you know, and then I have to photograph it and people are like, what I thought? And I made it.
I remember you saw Christian's post. He said, during lockdown, I realized why so many people started to drink. Yeah. Another truth, yeah. Girl, okay. You drive the Jeep, you cook like that. I might start reconsidering this whole gay thing. Just saying. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, but Christian has to come with us too. I'm sorry, it's a 2-for-1 deal. That's it.
We need a houseboy, so yeah, that'll work. Christian's asking, what's Akora?
Akora. So Ikora is a salmon roe. So it's caviar. Caviar is the small little eggs, and then you have the larger orange eggs.
Okay, gotcha. Now I know what you're talking about. Well, it seems like you really did, like, and my condolences to your mom's passing. Like from 2019 to 2021, there was this like 180-degree change of Pyper. Now going more soul searching or spiritual, what have you learned about you that you didn't know before 2019?
Ooh, that's a tough question. That's a good question. I realized that I am my own worst enemy. 100%. Hands down, I am my own worst enemy. I acknowledge it. I accept it. Some days I don't give myself a break. And then other days I'm like, you know what? You did well today. You did well. And finding that inner balance of not beating myself up all the time and not trying to compare myself to everyone just because it's on social media or just because, you know, this person did this or that person did that, or look at that photograph, I should have done it better, or, you know, just always constantly looking at other people and being like, why couldn't I do that? Why couldn't I be better? No. You're doing your best and you will learn and you will grow. Not you're doing your best because you want to, you know, you're just going to stay here in this comfortable zone. No, you're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to grow and you're going to get through it. You know, it's that little process, but don't push yourself down while you're trying to grow, because it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, you join me sometimes in the mornings for the breakfast, but definitely something that I've worked on and I help my clients work on is recognizing. You can't grow unless you recognize that you're broken somehow, Like you can't fix the cracks unless you recognize them. And sometimes we take the fake it till you make it in a wrong way. It's not fake it, ignore the problem so you can fix. It's hey, you know what? I'm with you. Like I work really hard sometimes at seeing other people like, why did he get that interview? Or why does she get to do that? Or when did they become? And Christian's like, you're on your own path. Stop it. You're on your own path, and they can't do what you do, and you can't do what they do. Just do you. And so right there with you, bro. Right there with you.
Exactly.
For everybody watching, this is Pretty Good Conversations. I'm your host, Daniel G. Gatsa. My guest today is Miss Pyper. We're talking about recognizing the cracks in our lives, fixing the imperfections, and finding ourselves. Please join the conversation still. If you have some questions or comments, you should bring them up. And of course, this is the part of the show where we talk about words of wisdom. So, Miss Pyper, what words of wisdom do you have for the folks watching today?
Just love yourself. Love yourself for the flaws that you have. Love yourself for the success that you've had. Love yourself for learning and for growing. Don't beat yourself up because you had a goal set and, the goal was here and you were here. Just acknowledge yourself as a human being. Don't make it an excuse. Don't be like, you know what, I'm a mess up because I'm human. No. You messed up for other reasons, but you need to acknowledge that you messed up. You need to acknowledge that you need to change it. You need to acknowledge all those things and then do that. And it's okay if you don't get it right the first time, but continue to make the effort till it's perfection for yourself.
Yeah. And you're right. You talk about social media, and we're both pretty big on social media. I mean, we do a lot. I say it humbly. I'm still big on social media. You know what I mean? Like,
You are.
I remember because I just do a bunch of stuff, not because a bunch of people follow me. I think it's just the same group of people everywhere I go. But you can get caught up in what other people do, especially. But folks, just for the folks watching this, remember that sometimes we edit our videos, so it might look perfect, but that was probably shot number 25 that made it on the air. Because I know for me, sometimes there's.
We also edit our faces.
Yes, I'm actually like a lot prettier than this in person.
Yeah, my Instagram post, y'all. If someone goes find me, with a poster of my Instagram post, they will never find me. They will never. You're welcome.
But yeah, I feel like sometimes we edit, and that's one of the reasons I love live streams. I love live streams. Like all of our shows at Little Mixer Productions Inc. are live streamed because there's no editing. We just put it out there. Like if we mess up, if we say something that doesn't belong, it happens. That's why I do the live streams on TikTok in the mornings. Because, well, first of all, you catch me in the morning when I just woke up, basically, and took a shower. And so, and then I'm eating while I'm doing the lives. So sometimes there might be a little bit of oatmeal that.
You're so rosy in the mornings, though. You're so good. Like you're a cheer because you come on when it's 12 for me. So I'm like, oh, I love this. It's like an afternoon little event. I love it. Gives me the good vibes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's just you wake up. My point is, and actually, I think I heard it from you. It was that instead of watching other people's videos, why wasn't I making my own? And it was that bitching part. Like, stop bitching about what other people are doing and you're not doing. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, they're so popular. Oh, they're getting more numbers. And I was like, but all you do in the morning for that hour while you're having breakfast is watching them. So why not make a video and have people watch you? And I was like, why did it take me a whole year to figure that one out?
Listen, it takes time, but don't beat yourself up about it.
It only took me 50 years to look this handsome, so I guess that's only fair. What's coming up for Ms. Pyper? What's on your agenda for the rest?
I'm actually moving. I'm doing a big move. I am relocating. I am revamping. I am starting fresh. I am just showing the world me, how I want it to be seen. I'm still going to be imperfect, and that's okay. But I want to do it in a place that I love. And I was never really in love with Florida to begin with. So why not get the chance to restart and go somewhere new? So
Nice. So Christian Young from across the room, California. So just to put that out there. California. Just to there. Subliminal messages in this video. So when you watch it again later, they'll be like little message. Yes, perfectly imperfect. You know what? I'm a quick story. The boyfriend I had before I met Christian, one of the first things he said when we first started dating, which was he was like, "I am perfect in my imperfection," and that stuck in my head. Like I am perfect in my imperfection. That no matter how messed up I think I am, like this is exactly where the God, the universe, and life want me to be right now, and then I'm okay. So where are you right now? Where are you right now? Body, mind, and soul.
Oh, I am in the everything will be fine. But also I can't wait. Like I'm in the state of like, all right, everything's settled, everything's fine, everything's filed, everything's whatever. I am my own person. I will be okay. But then I'm also like, I can't wait for this new adventure. I can't wait to be and shine and, be brand new. I accepted everything that happened. I understood it. I hated it. It wasn't fun, but it's okay. I went through that roller coaster and now I'm done with it. Now I'm over it. And now I'm over the environment. I'm over the mental, I just don't want to sit in this vibe anymore. I'm ready for a new vibe. I'm ready for a fun vibe. I'm ready for the world to see me as me and no one else, and I'm ready.
This is like such a Tina Turner moment. It's like all I want is my name. So
Exactly.
all I want is my name, and it's like, all right, girl, because you got everything else. You have everything else in here and in here, and everything out here you can get. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I'm like, you know what? I just can't wait. And I'm making sure that I have all my ducks in a row, that I have my stuff together, that I am prepared to start fresh, start new, revamp, shed my skin. I'm ready to shed my skin. And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it right. And I'm not going to say sorry for it.
There you go. Yeah, it's like Nacho says, don't forget she ain't the one.
I ain't the one.
That's a very gay thing to say, Nacho. I'm just going to say that. Everything will be exactly as it should be, even if it's not immediately apparent to you. Oh, man. Life. That's life right there.
Nikki
life,
coming in clutch.
Life just like, life is like, I tell people that, I say this all the time, it's like a dodgeball game. Like, sometimes you catch them and you win. Sometimes they bank you in the head. And you're like, okay, so I'm down for a minute. You keep going. Well, I'm very excited. First of all, I'm so grateful that you took time to come on the show and be part of it. I was anticipating, like I was wanting to talk to you and hear your story and have my audience hear your story, and it obviously didn't disappoint. But you are again, I know I've said this before. To me, you are a vision of female empowerment. Like you saw the bull and you took it by the horns, and you're like, not in my china shop. You will not. You will not break down my china shop. This is my space, and you won't break it down. Christian is whispering. Did you hear him from the microphone? Personal rebranding, yes, that's it. Man, that should be a whole workshop. That should be you just gave me an idea, Nacho. That should be a whole workshop for personal rebranding. Anything else that Christian's still whispering from across the room. He thinks the microphone can't pick it up, but he can. Anything that I missed saying before we leave?
No, but just, all I have to say is, just be thankful, and mentally tell yourself it could, in the idea of it could always be worse. You know what I mean? Like there's always, you're one person in this large world, right? And so your problems may seem so huge to you, and that's right, and you're validated for that feeling that it's upsetting you and it's frustrating you. But make sure you are able to pull yourself out of whatever situation that is and look at the outside world and say, well, is my problem, and not in the compare and contrast, but is my problem actually in my head, or is it actually, in the outside world, is it that big? Like, oh, she took a prettier picture than me. That's not that big of a deal. So how about we stop? How about we like the picture because that's what we're going to do anyways, and we keep scrolling. You know what I mean? Just make sure that you kind of check yourself,
Yeah. Isn't that a great analogy for life? If you don't like what's happening around you, just keep scrolling.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep scrolling.
The same effort that you put in criticizing, bitching, or putting down, you can take that energy, put it into yourself, and just keep scrolling. There you go, folks. That should be a theme for the day. Just keep scrolling. If you don't like it, just keep scrolling. Thank you so much. And I don't want to let go because I'm so happy that he popped up in the conversation. Thank you, Reg, for introducing me to Pyper because she's here now. Sir, just to let you know, we miss you. I miss talking to you, so I hope you get in touch soon. Pyper, I love you, girl. You are so amazing. I am California. Even if it's to come and visit, we hope you make it out here sometime. I'm going to be out in Florida. I don't know when you leave, but I'm going to be heading out to Florida for a conference, so I'll get in touch with you. But you are an amazing woman. Yes, with a great story. Can you hear him? Did you hear him?
Still California? I think
California, yeah. He's still whispering from across the room. Please come back. Please come and join us on the Christian and Daniel show and be a co-host.
Yes, I would love to.
And don't go away. I'm going to put you in agreement for a second while I say goodbye to everybody. But thank you so much for being here. I love you, girl.
Thank you for having me. I love you.
For everybody watching, thank you so much for being on the show. We want to remind you that we have more shows on the network. If you want to join us, we're here on, where is it? Here we go. We're on Wednesdays with the Christian and Daniel show, on Fridays, the Cardivo, and on Saturdays with 2 shows of putting together conversations at noon and 5. If you haven't heard, because I say it in every show, I wrote a book. Go buy it. You can buy it at any one of these 5 establishments. It's Corby Funding the Colors Game, written by me, illustrated by mother and daughter Jennifer and Vivian Gatch. It's a book about meditations and connecting and energy. It's dedicated to kids, but if you're an adult and you want to learn how to meditate, go get this book. It's a really good book. What else can I say? I wrote it. Remember, Put It Together Conversations. It's a show about folks, where you come from, where you are now, and what the journey is like. We want to hear your story. Come over and help us motivate and inspire other people to go after their dreams and goals. If you want to be part of the show, send me a message on any of the pages you're watching. Or if you want to nominate somebody, email us or message us and we'll get in touch with them and get them coordinated. Whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, you can share, comment, and be part of the show. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor. Scroll down, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. That'll let you know when new shows pop up in the air, whether they're here or on the TikToks, which we do our TikToks and we post them on YouTube, so go watch those. For now, I want to thank you. I'm going to show these last comments before we go. Thank you, Nacho. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the show. I will see you folks next week with a couple of new guests. For now, talk to you later. Bye-bye.